Welcome back to the Nonprofit Voice, profiling nonprofit organizations and learning more about the services they provide to their communities. This segment's brought to you by Web Dugout, redesigns, hosting, and SEO consulting. Call 761-7600. In studio now with us is Eileen Egan, who is Executive Director of Community Mainstreaming Associates. Good morning to you.
Hi, Flo. How are you?
Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. Community mainstreaming is, according to the website, is committed to helping people with intellectual and developmental disabilities lead meaningful and productive lives. Right. But, you know, in your mind, in your ways, what makes community mainstreaming great? You know, what services do you provide?
Well, community mainstreaming, first of all, has been around for 35 years and provides residential supports. We have 12 group homes. We also have a pre-vocational and a supported work program for people. And we provide service coordination and we provide recreation programs. So there are some people that we've been supporting for more than 30 years. Yeah. And there are some people that are just coming out of school and they are looking, I think they're looking for different things now, like jobs, where in the past people were looking for programs and something to do. Now I think young people are coming out of school and looking for, meaningful, inclusive, integrated work in the community.
So you think it's more a focus toward independence?
Absolutely.
For some people.
Absolutely. As much as they can and as much as they want.
Yeah.
So, and it's really individualized. It's different for each person as far as, some people want to live with a larger group of people. They like the group home. And there are some people that want to get their own apartment and, be very independent, but still need some help with their daily living, such as grocery shopping and banking and, some of those higher thinking skills. Yeah.
Talk about the role of the family member in all of this, and how you work with the family member in terms of, supporting the work that you do for the person who has this disability, and how important that is in the success of the person.
Absolutely. I think that it's very important for people to have a whole group of people supporting them, starting with their families, and then they also have the people that live near them and with them and people in the communities. They can all be supports because the people that we provide independent living skills or supports to are adults. So the families, I think that role has evolved too over the last 30 years as we've been doing this community group home and community residential supports. 20 years ago, families, when they brought their son or daughter to a group home, they may have given more of the decision-making authority to the agency. And now we really want families to be more involved in, what are your desires and what is your dream for your son or daughter and how can we support that? And there's much a part, there's not like a professional team and the family team. We're one team together, and that's really most effective for the person.
Luckily, there are several agencies on Long Island that deal with this population. How, in your view, how do you think that community mainstreaming is different?
Well, I think we're different because we're small. So I think our relationships can be a little bit more intimate with families and with the individuals. And we only, at this point, support 63 people in the residential program. We have about 100 in our service coordination program. And almost everyone in the agency knows each other. So it's almost like a big extended family with lots of cousins and aunts and uncles, and we get together a couple of times a year for, today's a big family day picnic, and we have the staff, they bring their families, we have the families of the individuals, and it really is, it reminds me of my big Irish family when we have a reunion and everybody gets together. And I think that also helps support people and make them feel confident and happy.
It's probably a good thing too, because that way, if I'm servicing somebody with this disability and he needs something that I can't provide, I know who to go to, because you're so connected to the rest of the organization.
Absolutely. We also go outside and we collaborate with other organizations.
Do you partner with organizations? Do you have sister groups, or do you partner with other agencies in this field?
Yes, absolutely. We belong to the Long Island Alliance, which is most of the agencies on Long Island. We also belong to another group called Advance of Greater New York. And that group is based all around the boroughs of New York, Westchester, Long Island. There's over 50 agencies, probably more small to medium-sized agencies, kind of like community mainstreaming. And it's an opportunity to share resources with people. We're also, getting together to talk about managed care, which is coming up. And, we are able to collaborate and share and cross-refer. Somebody might have a person who's a really good candidate for supported work that wants to come to CMA, and they may have a day program for one of my guys who's retired and doesn't want to work anymore but would like to go and do some volunteer work. So we can cross-refer and support like that.
Do you think that this age of cooperation is new to this field?
I do. I think it's probably been forced by financial circumstances.
Yeah.
But I think that earlier on in the development of agencies and group homes, there was a lot of competition for beds and dollars, and I think that agencies kind of worked in silos and were protective of their resources.
Yeah.
Whereas now, I think that people realize that collaboration is really the way to go in order to be a fuller, more effective business. And also, I don't know, maybe because there's less development and we're not competing for all those development dollars, we might as well just join together.
And ultimately, you're all working for the same goal, which is this independence, or whether it's independence or not, it's just servicing these people with disabilities as best you can.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if I can't do it, my commitment is to try to help families on Long Island with, the goal, the burdens that they have, and if I don't have the services, I'm going to call somebody who I think does.
And you're in Nassau County?
We are. We are. Right now, all our programs are in Nassau.
And so you were talking earlier about the differences between, previous decades and now, and how have services changed in the days in the field of supporting people with intellectual and developmental disabilities?
Well, quite a few decades ago, in the late 70s, is when really the care of people with developmental disabilities came to light, when Geraldo Rivera flew into Willowbrook and the conditions and really deplorable care became known to people. And after that, for 20 years, was a time of community group home development. And the state was pretty committed to it, and we had some pressure from the Willowbrook consent decree to create all these group homes. And the original homes were pretty large for economies of scale, I suppose, and also to get thousands of people out of the institutions. We created homes that were 10, 12 people, and they were nice. And I think part of the philosophy of care was to make sure people were safe and cared for. And it was kind of a caretaker kind of model. There were some opportunities, but I think we've evolved in the last 10 or 20 years to not only give people, not only care for them and take care of them, but to give them more of a voice and to find out, well, what is it that they truly like to do and are good at doing? Yeah. Because, they may have some social disability, or they may have some intellectual disability, but they also